Well, here's the headline. Dove partners with BLM activist in Fat Liberation campaign. Now, apparently this activist wrecked white student with uncorroborated accusations. So first off, let's get to the fat liberation part here. What is that exactly? Liberated from the refrigerator? What does it mean? From the looks of her, it looks like she needs to be liberated from her own fat. So what's going on here? Dove is now partnering in a fat liberation campaign with a Black Lives Matter activist accused of wrecking a white female student's life by accusing her of making threatening remarks, later admitting she may not have heard the remarks at all, according to a new report. And guess what? It doesn't matter. As long as you check off the right boxes, nothing matters. It doesn't matter how horrible of a person you are, you're still oppressed. And why? Well, woke, that's why. And guess what? Corporations like Dove will still want to throw money at you. Now, as for this fat liberation business, let's take a look at Dove's website here and see what they have to say about it. Apparently, they're supporting the movement to end body size discrimination. Well, I gotta say, in this picture, they actually look pretty happy. Maybe they're taking them to Golden Corral after the photo shoot. Well, it says here they've got an expert partner at NAAFA. I wonder what that stands for. We've joined forces with the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance. This is a real thing, apparently. Against body size discrimination. Read their research on fat bias and the lack of fat liberation news in the media. Yeah, I think I'll skip the report. It's probably mostly just recipes anyway. Oh, how about this? Flair Project Fellowship. We're funding a first-of-its-kind legal fellowship to support the campaign for size freedom's work to expand legal protections for people living in larger bodies. So, yeah, I guess they're going to get lawyers involved. And I'll tell you what, when the sign says, all you can eat, it should mean all you can eat. And plus, it's not your fault that you can't fit in the airplane seat. It's the plane's fault. But let's take a look at what the woman in question had to say in her video.
My belief is that we should be centering the voices and experiences of the most marginalized people and communities at all times. So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me,
Do you know what fat liberation looks like to me? I imagine it's a flock of chickens running away from her.
Spaces and institutions in a fat body. It looks like making accessible spaces and having conversations that are aware of the fact that people have different bodies and that they are interacting with space and people and institutions and community.
The language they use as if it's to give some sort of false weight, pun intended, to just totally empty and vacuous statements.
Looks like centering the voices and the experiences of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat.
Maneuver through spaces in a fat body. You could just say you couldn't fit through the fucking door. And you know what? You know who's marginalized? You're not marginalized. You know who's marginalized? Starving people. She's not marginalized or oppressed. And just rule of thumb here. If you look like you ate the gross agricultural product of a small nation, you're not oppressed. You're not marginalized. The only thing a truly marginalized or vulnerable or oppressed person should ever have to say to her is, hey, could you save me some? And here's another thing. When it comes to oppression, self-inflicted wounds don't count. It's your choice. Live with it. Nobody's forcing you to take in that many calories. You don't get to cut off your own leg and then demand that they build a ramp into the Dunkin' Donuts. And why is Dove doing this? Is it ESG? Is it for the ESG score? Because when it comes to women's products, there's a pretty foolproof plan for marketing it. You get attractive women to use the product, then other women will say, that woman's attractive, I want to be like that. Maybe I'll use the same product. Maybe it'll give me a bit of what she's got. So I'm really not sure this is all going to work out that great. Are they going to come out with a new soap? It looks like a bar of butter. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.